taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Start your day the joyful way. It's your weekday morning talk show inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes. And now here's your host, the queen of joy herself, Jessica Dugas. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 19th, 2022. I cannot believe I'm saying May 19th. I'll be honest with you. This year is flying by. I don't know what's happening and I don't understand. Somebody's going to have to explain to me, please, how I'm going to have a 21-year-old in less than 2 weeks. Please explain. Somebody, anyone out there can explain this to me. I am in denial and that's okay. I'm determined it's all right. Sometimes it brings me great joy to be in denial. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how this happens, but yet here we are. Speaking of the birthday boy himself, I had to last couple of weeks. They've scheduled him for 8 a.m. and I'm like, did you not tell the people that your mother is a big streaming star and cannot get you there this time of morning? So I've had to bring him early. So my days are a little bit hectic some mornings now. My mornings are a little bit hectic. And it's I get a little flustered because I'm not in my typical just ease and flow of the morning. And because, I'm out there dealing with the traffic and the people that can't drive early in the morning. But here we are. Listen, we have a great show today. Really excited about Kenneth Lord returning for his self-mastering series. We are diving into mastering relationships today, you guys. So really excited about that. We did a relationship empowerment with Laura last week. And so I love how everything's been tying together. And I just want to give a huge shout out to you guys that are watching because I've received so much incredible feedback about these different series and I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that you are benefiting from the amazing people that we've had on the show. And also the amazing feedback about the Fun Friday episodes as well, because I've had fun with you guys out on the town a couple weeks ago and then in the kitchen last week. It's been a really good time for me. What else is going on in my world? I shared yesterday in the opening segment of the show that I realized why I am not a lawyer. I've been sharing about my joy in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case that's been going on, and that yesterday they started the video depositions, or 2 days ago, and it is the most boring thing I have ever witnessed in my entire life. And I told Scott Mason on the show yesterday, I said, Scott, I got to hand it to you. As many years as he was an attorney, I don't know how he did it, because it is horrible, horrible. And so at any rate, but we did, it's still going on, and it brings me joy to learn these different things. And it really does, like I said to Scott yesterday, it gives us an appreciation for the judicial process, and how things work, and all of that brings me joy. What else is bringing me joy today? Judith Finneran is in town, you guys. You may remember her she's been on Project Joy a few times, has popped on, sometimes from her camper. They travel all around with their camper, and then was also a guest on season 4 of the Breakthrough Show. She is a fish. She's like 11 miles down the road at the campground, and we are having dinner tonight. I'm so excited. We are all gonna we're piling all of the kids in the car, and we are going over there to the campground, and we're gonna have a good time. So really excited about that. And Judith, I hear, is thrilled because Nina is going to be making one of her cakes. And Judith's like, I can't believe I'm getting a famous Nina cake. It's happening. It has come to fruition. So fabulous. I'm so excited. And, I was talking to someone about this morning, that, it can be challenging for us that are entrepreneurs. We work by ourselves. We, a lot of us, I've been working online since the beginning of my business back in 2015. And so my whole circle of everybody that I've ever worked with is online, and it's and global, everywhere. And so it's not often that I've had the opportunity to meet people in person, but when that happens, it is so exciting for me. And so I'm thrilled. I'm going to have lots to share, I'm sure, on Fun Friday tomorrow, with pictures and all of that. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys tomorrow. Let's check in and see who's in the audience this morning before we talk about our national days today. And I will tell you ahead of time to get your snacks ready. Okay, get your snacks ready. Jason Lansing's here this morning. Good morning, Jason. It is good to see you. Jason says, what brings me joy this morning is being healthy. We love that. And I'm glad that you're healthy, Jason. Brittany's here this morning. Good morning, Brittany. Grand Rising. Happy Thursday. It is good to see you here as well. Everybody is chatting in the comments. I love it. And then let's see. Oh, thank you. Yes, so listen, Margine is one of my daughters, my second oldest daughter, and she loves makeup. She's amazing at makeup. She did makeup for me for Mother's Day. She's fabulous, does a really good job. But she likes to take my makeup. And so when I go to sit down to do my face in the morning and everything else, I finally got my lipstick back. By the way, Urban Decay is probably one of my favorite lipstick brands. So thank you for that, Brittany. I appreciate it. I got my makeup back. It's always an exciting time. Yes, I'm so excited to see Judith this evening. It's going to be so much fun. And to get a hug, and have her. I had purchased her book back when I met her. To recap for you guys, Judith lost her husband in a tragic accident. He had taken his bike and was killed, and she ended up writing a book about it called about the ghost bike, and then also did a short film about it as well, and it made its round in the film festivals and did very well. And it was all just on this passion that she had to share his story after he was killed. And so I had bought her book, and so I'm going to have her write in. That's my favorite thing, when I know somebody who writes a book, to have them write in it for me. And so I'm excited that I get to have that happen. So yeah, really excited to meet up with her tonight. And let's talk about, let me know if there's anything in particular that you guys are celebrating today, because we have a couple of national days that we can talk about this morning. It is listen, it's something called May Ray Day. And apparently this day celebrates people who are called Ray, R-A-Y or R-A-E or any version of Ray, but it also encourages you. I love how we're doing double duty with the National Day today, to go out and get some rays. Enjoy the sun. Obviously, be careful. Don't stay outside until you look like a lobster. But encouraging people to go out and get a little bit of sunshine today as well. Here's your official snack warning. It is also Devil's Food Cake Day. Devil's Food Cake Day. I just want to point out that I think it continues to be amusing that Tuesday, I had to look back at my notes here, was World Hypertension Day, and then yesterday we had the Cherry Cobbler Day, and now Devil's Food Cake Day. It's no wonder that we have to have a hypertension day. I'm just trying to say. So let me know if you like Devil's Food Cake. I enjoy Devil's Food Cake. We are making Nina's making her famous coconut cake this evening for Miss Judith, and we are excited about that because let me tell you about that coconut cake. It needs its own national holiday. I will just tell you right now. It is so good. So we're excited to do that tonight. It is also apparently, and I'm going to pull this one back up because I'm trying to refresh my memory here, but it is National Caesar Day. Caesar Day. And apparently this is not what I was thinking, Caesar as in the person. And then I was thinking Caesar as in salad, but this is not what we're talking about. If I can recall correctly. Okay. Let me pull this up here, or perhaps it's it's International Caesar Day. Let me go back to where I had before. This is a drink. Anybody heard of this cocktail called Caesar? And it's Canada's national drink. Parliament made it official. This is their national drink. It looks to me like a Bloody Mary, but it is not a Bloody Mary, apparently. And the difference is that there is clam juice in it. I'm not here for a Bloody Mary, nor adding clam juice does not make it better for me at all. So let me know if you've ever had that drink. I have never had that drink before, but I was thinking salad. I was thinking Caesar the person. Nope, has to do with the drink. And I have no idea. No idea. Oh, look who's here. Amanda's here this morning and Judith's here. Yes, I'm surprised you're awake, Judith, because you're an hour behind this morning. The time zone you're on. I get to see Judith today. Yes, very excited. There's another Caesar. Yes, we just didn't know about it. Never heard of it. See, exactly. That was exactly and no, listen, no shade if you like the drink. Just no, not for me. Never heard of a see, I'm glad I'm not alone in this. All right, listen, you guys, we're going to take a quick break, you guys, and be right back after this with our special guest today, Kenneth Lord. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and today is Thursday, May 19th, 2022. I shared earlier, we are less than 2 weeks now. We are in the countdown for my oldest 21st birthday, and I don't want to talk about it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm very excited about our returning guest today. We have been talking about mastering your inner game, and I'm excited to dive into the world of relationships today. So let's welcome back to the show a fabulous leadership coach, Kenneth Lord. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Jessica. How are you today?
I am good. Still early there?
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Listen, you continue to get immediately bonus points for being here early in the morning.
Well, these are important. You know, it's we're all here for a reason, and this is an important time, and we all want to be there for each other. So
absolutely. And I was sharing, earlier that I'm so blown away. We have gotten so much amazing feedback about all of the series we have been doing this month and how it really is perfect timing for everybody. And it's things that people have been thinking about. And I think, it's good for us to go into the summer with things that we can do, things that we can work on, things that we can take our inner game to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so important. There's so many transitions happening in our lives, and these 4 seasons that are part of life, we need to come. Hey, how are you, Brittany?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool time to see what's happening. Lots of changes and transitions for everybody. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about what it means to master your inner game, what that self-mastery looks like a little bit. And then last week, we talked about leadership. And I think a lot of people felt very empowered by our conversation last week because, like we talked about, a lot of times that leadership, we think, oh, leaders, you have to be XYZ in order to be a leader. You have to be in a certain line of work or have a certain title. And as you shared, leadership is for everybody, right?
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is that each one of us has a gift. Each one of us has a purpose. And oftentimes we don't realize what that is, but really it's whatever comes naturally to you, whatever that is. It's like breathing, right? And so it's important to realize that whatever it is that you might even take for granted what that actually is. And just as a side note, this is one of the things that I believe is really important to realize is that a lot of times we take for granted what our natural gift is for one of 2 reasons, either a lack of self-value or lack of self-worth. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with that per se, as much as understanding what that is. A lot of times coming to that point of understanding of, yes, okay, I see what that is. What can I do? How can I move through this rather than, beat yourself up? And so my thought for everybody is to just pay attention to what comes naturally. And usually it starts with a hobby. Okay. And if there's something that you've been doing for all your life when you were a kid or something, and it's coming to this point, maybe that's actually what it is. And also one thing on that note is just realize that whatever it is that you might think that's not so much important or that it's not really a big deal, other people are generating income from it. Other people are empowered by it. And so we want to look at those things and maybe even talk with Jessica, bounce some ideas off and see how, maybe those are the things that are important to generate income from.
Yeah, absolutely. And good morning, Juju. It's good to see you this morning. Thank you guys for being so interactive today. I love to see that. Jason was welcoming you back as well, Kenneth.
Thank you.
So we're going to get into the topic today about mastering relationships. And, immediately I remind myself as we go into talking about this topic. Jessica, the only person you can actually control is you. We can't control the other people, right? So where would you like to start with this conversation today?
Actually, one of the thoughts that this morning, as I was kind of reflecting on a few things, is I want to kind of share with you a little bit about me. And that is that years ago, back in 1997, I got married, and or maybe it was 98. I got married, and our relationship was one of those marriages that were made in heaven. It was just a perfect match. We didn't get in one argument the entire time we knew each other. We were married for 5.5 years, knew each other for 6 years. We're 7 together. It really was an amazing alignment. She unfortunately passed away in 2003. The reason why I'm sharing that information with you is that it's important to realize that it can be a wholesome relationship. It can be something where you don't have to argue, you don't have to, and it begins with your initial decision. It begins with the decision before you even go on a date. And I know that may seem a little bit challenging to relate to, but remember that every decision sets up your next decision. And then when you go on a date, for instance, with someone, or you start flirting, I believe that every relationship starts with flirting. And that when you make that decision to go on the date, when you make the decision to take those next steps, when you're looking at a relationship, you want to come from a point of centeredness rather than something that's associated with them or some pattern or habit that you might have from childhood, etc. So, for example, some people might get married or go into a relationship because of security or because of money or because that person looks good, etc. And my thought is to truly be aligned with who you are internally first, and then come from that willingness to choose to not be in that relationship if you're not feeling it's totally aligned. I believe that we can all determine what the timeline is of a person in that relationship simply by looking at them and or feeling or sensing who that individual is. So I believe that, looking at making that initial decision ultimately is going to help you for the long term, because oftentimes what happens is that we might go and get into a relationship for maybe 6 months or 6 years, and then all of a sudden there's a breakup, you get starting in arguments and so forth. But how you look at one of the ways that you look at that, and I'll complete that thought in just a second, is how you look at it is you want to look at it from I believe there's 4 different tiers of individuals. There's the local, regional, national, and global thinker, or I call influencer type. And when you look at and how those 4 come to be are how that person sees and talks about things every part of their day. So if a person is talking about global issues constantly throughout the day, they're more of a global influencer type. If they're thinking about and talking about things that are happening in their daily lives, they're what's for dinner, how are we going to do this, and so forth. Oftentimes they're more of a local type of person. What you're ultimately wanting to do is understand which one the other person is, because if you're both in the same influencer type, then that means there's going to be grace between you. If there is any disconnect, one could be on one influencer type, the other one could be on a different another influencer type, there may be some discord at some point in the relationship. It doesn't mean that you can't deal with, or you can't just go with the flow. It just means that it may not be as graceful as what I described earlier as it relates to my late wife, for instance.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I mean, I think I love what you're sharing about being able to say no if it is not in that alignment that you want to see. And we talked about that yesterday or Tuesday with Laura Mazzata as well, about it is just as important for us to learn how to say no and to recognize the things that are not in alignment for us as it is for us to say yes. And sometimes even more important for us to be able to have that courage to say no. When you're talking about the influencer types, I know you said global and kind of a local. Are there different levels to each of those? Like, is there more to look at than just like the two different types there?
Well, I was saying that there's 4. So there's local, regional, national, and global.
Okay.
And so I just look at it pretty simply because, so for example, if an extreme example would be of where there may be some challenges down the road, and there might be some really a great relationship initially, and it's moving forward and so forth. Maybe there's some opposition going on. I mean, opposite attracts kind of model. But essentially, think about it like this: if you and I are together, for instance, I'm more of a global, you're more of a local. What may happen is I'm talking about things that are going on in the world, Russia and China, and what's going on in these different countries. I'm ahead, on top of the news, and then you're talking about, let's go to the movies this weekend, let's go out camping, and let's go, do these things that are more locally driven. Nothing wrong with those things, because I do them myself, by the way. It's just, that's the mindset. That's the daily and moment by moment thought pattern, right? What's going to ultimately happen is that I'm going to be, remember, life is designed with your partner to be one with. And when you are in that, whatever particular influencer type with that individual, there's a oneness there. If there's any local, a global and national, there's still not a complete synthesis there. And so what happens is that I might be talking about what's going on in Asia and these other places globally. Hey, look at this big charity that's going on and so forth. And at some point you're going to say to me, can you stop talking about those things? Right. And then I'm going to say, well, come on, raise up. I want you to raise up and look at these bigger pictures. And so there's a complete disconnect there. And there's going to be some level of fighting, et cetera, that happens no matter what it is. And like, I might be a speaker. I want to speak nationally, and my partner, and this is one of the things that I find a lot, is that there's an entrepreneur who is not really they've never really worked in their life for another company or another person. And then there's the person who gets paid, and they're used to getting paid by another company. Well, typically an entrepreneur has a different risk aversion model than, say, somebody who's actually getting paid constantly, because they're getting paid based upon the revenue that's being generated, that they generate, not money given to them. And so there's a definite conflict there, because one's wanting to soar, they want to go national, they want to speak, they want to be out there, maybe they want to travel a bit. This person wants to stay home, they don't want to travel, they're used to that security. So there's oftentimes a major disconnect there, and this happens all the time in relationships. That's what I found. And this is the same kind of tier level model that's part of this as well. So each one of these levels, as an example, you said, are there sub conversations? Yes. One may be this one right here, which is, if both of them are entrepreneurs at the same level, there's grace, such as my late wife, for instance, and myself. We were both speakers. We spoke together and so forth. But even if you have even the same influencer type and both of those are different, there's going to be some level of conflict, even though you might have this oneness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely can hear what you're saying. And I think Amanda said, I'm a galactic thinker. The sky is not the limit. Love that. And also, good morning, Anne Marie. It's good to see you today. I don't find myself easily able to fall into any particular category. And I think for me, as I'm not even just talking about love relationships, but in friendships and business relationships, I need people that can keep up with the fact that right now I might be a global thinker, and 5 minutes from now I might be a local thinker, or I might be, I tend to be very different as I go on intuition and how I feel in the moment, and different interests at different times, and being a very multi-passionate person. And so I need people that are similar to that and that can keep
Sure.
up with that changing. And I also think, and I'd love for you to chime into this, of how important it is to be able to understand that we are not in these different types our entire lives, that we learn and we grow and we change and we develop over time. Because I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I wasn't always interested in global things, but now that's very different. And so the importance of being able to kind of to understand that people change, and that it's a choice in relationships to continue and to choose to grow and change together.
Sure. What an amazing question you just created here. And that is that I didn't always used to be an entrepreneur. I'm always changing. There's always an evolution. You're absolutely accurate. Okay. And one thing that I would say about that is that when you are 10 years old, you're not as aware of who you are when you are 35 years old. There hasn't been development. You haven't maybe identified your core destiny or your true purpose in life yet. When you're 23, you still may not have evolved into understanding who you are for the betterment of humanity. So we're always removing the veils, releasing the patterns, understanding who we are. Who we are is different than what we do. Totally different. Therefore, when you were younger, maybe who you were hadn't come out yet, for instance. Maybe who you were hadn't shown, for example. It's not that you weren't that way from the beginning. It's that maybe there were patterns and habits and programs on you, either others placed on you because our parents are foundational influencers. The book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, for instance, from Robert Kiyosaki. When you read that, you realize that one was rich and one was poor, not because they were rich and poor. I mean, they were in his mind, but one was an entrepreneur that looked at business and was more of the entrepreneur. The poor dad, for instance, was the one who was the working dad who worked for another company. So in Robert's mind, based upon the book, he looked at them as someone, because he was an entrepreneur, he looked at there's more value in this other one. And so it wasn't per se that, both of those fathers, for instance, were the same their entire life. One of them always worked for somebody else. The other one was more of an entrepreneur most of their life. So I would look at your question, not so much as from the standpoint of that's not that I evolved into something, or that I changed per se, is that you released, or the things got released from you so that you could realize more of who you are today rather than when you were 20, for instance, and you understand better what your mission or your purpose is, rather than say what you may not have realized at the same age, right?
Right.
And so the key to understanding these pieces is to be willing to learn and to understand and to grow. For the last 3 decades, essentially, I shouldn't have said that, but 3 decades, I've been studying human nature. I'm just teasing. And essentially, what I've found is that my passion has always been to understand people, and it just came out naturally. So whatever we do, whatever we focus on, we receive insights that nobody else receives. Why? Because it's all about love. And love gives us insights. Even if you're in the same industry, you might think that person is seeing the same things, or they understand the same things, but they actually don't. And it's all based upon that person's empowerment, who they are, where they came from, and ultimately which influencer type. For example, on that same kind of, to add to that piece and to kind of add clarity to these regional, national, and so forth, let's just say that you want to start a real estate company. Well, okay, one person, a broker, might say, I'm good. I just want to have one office and that's it. I don't need like multiple offices. Well, that would be more of a local type of a person, as in this illustration, a local mindset. It's not, there's nothing wrong. Another person might say, well, I want to open 10 offices in the region, and that's all they want is 10 offices. And that's the area that they focus on. So another person wants to have a national franchise. They want to have it like Keller Williams, where it's blown up and it's all over the place. And then they have a whole structure out on top of that. Each one of those are influencer types that we're talking about here in this illustration. It's not so much the person who starts 10, who wants 10 offices, most likely isn't going to start a national brand. They're not going to start this Keller Williams. The person who starts that one office most likely is not going to start a second one or go into 10. It's not that they couldn't evolve. It's just, that's just who they are.
Right.
So to your question, we're always evolving internally, but these are fundamental mechanisms or principles that are aligned with who we are. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, Rich Dad, Poor Dad as well. And this concept reminds me also very much of the 4 quadrants in business. As you were talking, it kind of reminded, because somebody that I know is obsessed with the quadrants. And so when you talk to her, that is all she talks about, and how the different quadrants relate to each other. And, you want to hang out with the ones that you want to, she goes down the rabbit hole with it, but it very much reminded me of that similar concept of the different levels or different quadrants or different, and the importance of, being in relationships with the ones that you want to be, that you want to embody, that you want to have in your life. So how do we, obviously from what I'm taking from what you're saying, it's important for us to make choices from the beginning of relationships and know where we are. And but when we're into relationships, what do you think are the most important things that we need to do to master the relationships that we're in?
Great question. I'm glad that you asked that question. So one of the most important things, I would say it's probably the most important thing, is to be present with your partner. And this, when I say presence, so there's different needs. So a woman has certain things that she's looking for, that she wants. There's men who are looking for different things that they're looking for. And oftentimes it's an internal process. And so imagine for a moment that you were going to work and your husband was there. You were going to work and all of a sudden you saw each other and you paused. And all of a sudden you looked in each other's eyes and you were present with each other. And you looked at them just for maybe 3 to 5 seconds. And you told them that you love them, that you really appreciate them, that you care about them. You kissed them and you hugged them. And you just were there with them just for a few minutes, hugging them, maybe a few extra minutes. And then you went to work. How would that make you feel?
It feels good.
Feel like, how do you believe that would make your husband feel? So being present, that is going to complete all of the internal feelings, because in that, what we, in my opinion, what we really desire is that a union, that communion with each other, right? That oneness. And that's essentially what a partner is with anyways, right? We're there for each other, with each other. And that presence is, in my opinion, the most powerful thing that we could have with that person. And if we could do that if we're willing to do that every single day, consistently throughout the day, we're going to have a healthy relationship. Now, on that note, I want to share 2 things that I feel are important. One of them is that when you have a relationship and you have a disagreement, it's really important to realize that you got in that relationship because you love that person. And any kind of dip, any dip in that relationship, a dip meaning that there's a misunderstanding, maybe there's an issue or something, just keep in mind that if you love that person, you want to always maintain and never take for granted that person at all, and remind them. Even you could even say, hey, don't take me for granted, don't take my love for granted. And it helps them because they're living their life, you're living your life. And there's always an evolution in that, right? Because our cells are always multiplying, so we're always changing and so forth. So we need to hold our place. So for example, an analogy would be, if you're moving up in your evolution and that person hasn't, they're having struggles getting up, for instance, then you're going to hold your place for them to come up. You're not going to be mean to them. You're going to be kind to them. You're going to empower them, help empower them. You're going to help them by holding your place so they can come up. And then when they're way up here, for instance, now you might not have gained, that level of conversation or confidence. So they will hold the place for you. It's always this evolution in our lives and in our relationships that's important. And by holding our place in our power together as one, and this is why it's so important in these 4 different influencer types. And that's just my 4 influencer types I created, but it makes perfect sense. And so when you hold your place because you're one, then what happens is there's always going to be grace. There's always going to be ease, because if it starts dipping down at all, then what happens is the relationship's going to start going that direction. And you might be able to, raise it up a little bit to some degree, but in my opinion, you don't even want it to go down at all. So constantly are saying, I love you, I care about you, and point out positive things about that person. Right. Whether you're having a good day or bad day, for instance, we can always hold our place because it's all about us in the beginning anyways. It's not about the other person.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love the importance of being present, because even with my husband and I was sharing a little bit before we came on the show today, we've gone from not seeing each other very much at all, and to now we both work at home. And so when we wouldn't see each other much at all, it was easier to be, I think, not easier, but it was more of habit to be more intentional about being present, about being, checking in, saying I love you before you leave, being in the moment with each other. When he started working at home, we found ourselves in this place where it was really easy to be in that mindset of, oh, we don't, and not consciously, but in the back of our minds, we work at home together. We were in the same damn house all day long. We don't need to worry about, being so present, but we both, like within weeks, were like, yeah, this is not work. We still need to be as intentional now being in the same house as we were when we were not. And so now it's, even when we were on the opening roll of videos that play before the show comes on, he came in, we had a moment, checked in, before he went in his office, and I'm in mine, and so we still have to be as intentional, even though we're in the same house, because it's easy to get caught in a routine of just going on, because we're in a very fast-paced world now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is more important now, especially because, remember that we're all, you have children, and those children, parents are foundational influencers. So because you're a foundational influencers, they're constantly observing what you're doing, how you're interacting with each other, even whether you realize it or not, right? Because somebody's always watching. You could be doing something or not doing something. They're paying attention to the energy between you, what's going on in the house. Obviously, children are, sponges, and so they absorb a lot of what's going on between the parents, and that wholesomeness is going to give them that wholesomeness, that solid foundation for their future relationships, right? So it absolutely is essential to be the example that you're wanting want your children to grow up in, one of the questions that I will ask is, what is that you want to ask yourself without judgment is, what is the impact that you want to make in your child's life? What's the impact that you want to make? And again, there's no judgment. It's an internal, it's our own question. And so therefore we need to watch our conversations, how we speak. And in previous, we talked about every word is constructive or destructive.
Right.
These are so important principles. And this is what makes a solid foundation of your relationship. I have so much to share about the relationship side of it.
I know. And listen, I just want to say, for those of our audience that are watching that are single parents, that are, in a different type of relationship, you can mirror these with yourself. You can mirror these with your friend relationships. You can mirror these for your children in business relationship. There's, I believe all of the concepts that Ken is sharing is not just, exclusive to a spouse type of relationship, that it's, you could mirror that for your children in a lot of different ways. We do have to take a quick break, and we will be right back with some final thoughts, and of course letting you know where you can find Ken. So we'll be right back after this.
Imagine a world where every child gets a great education. Educating all children is the only way to end poverty. This is what the Weiss Scholarship Foundation is working to accomplish. Our 6 staff members, our mentors and coordinators, who are on the ground in Kenya, are totally engaged in every aspect of our students' lives, so we can give them every opportunity for success. In just a few short years, we have already awarded 141 scholarships. We send children to high school who would have never gone without our support. And then we help them go on to either university or vocational school. We have already scaled our holistic business model to 4 locations and are ready to scale it to many more. Today it's Kenya, but tomorrow it's more countries. Please contribute what you can today. You can make a one-time donation, a recurring donation, or choose to sponsor a child all on your own for all 4 years of high school for just $3,500. Go to our website, www.weissscholarshipfoundation.org.
Crederò ancora nell'amore, anche quando il cuore greva e l'anima frantumata. Crederò ancora nell'amore, perché il mondo è dilaniato, non solo il mio piccolo paese, dove vivo quasi al sicuro, dove vivo piuttosto bene, ma l'intero mondo, ogni giorno. Crederò ancora nell'amore, perché il mondo è dilaniato, non solo il mio piccolo paese, dove vivo quasi al sicuro, dove vivo piuttosto bene, ma l'intero mondo ogni giorno. Crederò ancora nell'amore, perché abbiamo bisogno di più luce. Abbiamo bisogno di più luce, non di altri morti, non di nuove bombe, non di più potere. Crederò ancora nell'amore, così che i bambini crescano al sicuro, così che i nostri amici trovino rifugio, così che le frontiere si aprano. Crederò ancora nell'amore, anche quando ho il cuore è greve e l'anima frantumata. Crederò ancora nell'amore e crederò per sempre nell'amore.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. We're here with Kenneth Lord this morning, and I want to remind you guys to visit weshallstandforlove.world to learn more about the For Love Project by my friend Dorothy Auger. What would you like to leave us with this morning about mastering relationships, Kenneth?
I would like to leave with you the thought that it always begins from within first. So whether you're single, whether you're a parent, single parent, whatever that is, whether you're in your partnership with someone, to realize that this relationship is the first relationship is with yourself first. And when let's just say you're looking for someone or you're wanting to attract someone, for example, you're wanting to be aligned with who you are. You want to be that flame so that anybody who comes into your life is that equal flame. And you really understand your own power, your own worth, your own value that you're offering because you're fully aligned with who you are. And that's, I feel like and be present with yourself, and then that's what's going to help you to get clear about who you are wanting to be with, how you want your relationship to unfold, whether you're in a relationship or not right now, and to realize that there's nobody more important than you in your relationship. I know, what a strange thing to say, right? But the reality of it is that's not a selfish statement as much as it is being aligned with who you are, so that every word comes out of your mouth is constructive. Everything that you do and the example setting that you are sharing, that you're being and you're seeing and you're living in your life, essentially is what other people see and experience, so they can be their best example for themselves and for those that are around them.
Yeah, absolutely. Brittany said this has been great. Thank you so much, Brittany, for being here. Also, Anne Marie and Brittany, thank you for standing for love with us this morning. I agree 100%. I think it does come back to us, and I'm really interested in looking at the different levels of influence that we talked about today. I think it's important to pay attention to those things. And also, I feel like we could have talked about 80 more different paths of, of relationship info this morning. As well. Kenneth, you want to remind everybody how to find you, and I'll put your website down at the bottom as well.
Sure. You can come to our website, KennethLord.info, or you can email me at KennethLord@yahoo.com. That's another place that you can send me an email, and we can, chat if you'd like, and go from there.
Kenneth Lord at yahoo.com, you guys. Okay. You can
Very
email
easy.
him as well. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ken, for being here again today. Do you have anybody who is celebrating a birthday in your life today?
No, not that. Oh, as a matter of fact, I do actually. A really good friend of mine is celebrating a birthday today. As a matter of fact. So his name is Vladimir.
Vladimir. Okay, let us add him.
Not Putin.
Thank God. That's another show, boys and girls. Okay. All right. So we have Vladimir has a birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Listen, you guys, I've had this whole moment with siblings this week. I shared with you the other day about Taj Mowry being the brother of Tia and Tamara Mowry from Sister Sister in the celebrity world. And then this morning, today is JoJo Siwa's birthday, which a lot of your kids may know about her. But at any rate, she was on the dance show that was on Lifetime there, name slipping my mind. But at any rate, she's a dancer. And then her brother, I found out, is Jaden Siwa, which I don't get into this stuff, but his birthday is actually tomorrow. But I did not know. I had been following him on TikTok forever and laughing hysterically at his videos. I had no idea they were related. No idea. And their birthdays are a day apart. So happy birthday, JoJo Siwa. Also, Marshmallow's birthday is today. Singer Sam Smith. Malcolm X's birthday is today. If you guys remember from back when WW, whatever it is now, was WWF, Andre the Giant's birthday was today. And who else do we have here? Also, Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca. Birthday is today. So happy birthday, Chewbacca. In the Star Wars, for anybody that was like, what are you talking about? Star Wars. For the celebrities in my life, Lavanda's birthday is today. Lavanda Jennings, happy birthday, Lavanda. Also, my friend Emily Greider's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Em. And also Breakthrough alumni and a fabulous human being, Aaron Fisher's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Aaron. Let us get our birthday song on. Oh, I have to, I'm missing here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jojo Siwa, Marshmallow, Sam Smith, Malcolm X, Andre the Giant, Peter Mayhew, Lavada Jennings, Aaron Fisher, Emily Grider, and Vladimir. Happy birthday to you. Yes. I hope you guys have an amazing day and have fabulous birthday celebrations going on. Thank you, Brittany. May the force be with you. Absolutely. Thank you again, Ken, for being here this morning. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching or listening wherever you are in the world today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
You've been tuned in to Project Joy Live with Jessica Dugas, your weekday morning talk show, inviting you to start your day with a triple shot of good vibes only on the Breakthrough Show Network. Binge all past episodes of Project Joy at projectjoypodcast.com. Until next time, help us spread the joy by sharing this episode, and we'll see you soon.